Hello everyone, welcome to the 5th dev stream of SunnySide, or developer live stream as we like to call it. My name is Siavash, aka Rainy, and joining me is Sydney, the producer and narrative director of SunnySide and many other things.
The most important person.
Yes, very true. As always, let us know if there are any technical issues or audio problems or anything of the like. But yeah, happy to be back. It has been, I think, an incredibly busy month. Just the past 2 months. Yeah. It's been crazy. So
yeah,
I know you want to go into depth. You want to go in depth with that in a minute. But yeah, hello everybody. Welcome. Yeah, you put it in there that we've been busy with development.
That was pretty much it, just that we've been busy.
Just that we've been busy, yeah.
Just that we've been busy.
I have my microphone kind of to the side, so I'm trying to put it in front of me so that we don't have the issue we had that one time.
Yeah, Rainy got a haircut. His hair actually looks really good.
Hey, thank you guys. I have the gamer thing though. It looks like I'm balding, but trust me guys, I'm not.
Yeah, Kevin gets that too.
It's just been pushed down. Yeah.
I call it the gamer dent.
Yes, very true.
The gamer dent.
But yeah, thank you, Ryuku. Appreciate that. But yeah, welcome. Hello, everybody. The intro that you all saw was the town birthday event, and that was Josh playing one of the new soundtracks from the game, one of the acoustic soundtracks from the game. Those will never play unless you play it yourself on like Koi Beats, but they're always played spatially, which means that you have to go to the event to be able to hear them play live. But you'll be able to play them on Koi Beats. Did we ever decide? I think the decision was that he would like sell his records. We haven't made a decision about it. That was an idea that he could sell his records to you, but but yeah. Do you wanna take it with some of the RainyGames stuff? And actually, QA channel is up and running as always. So if we miss any questions in the chat, please put it there, and we'll get to it ASAP.
I'm always kind of loud. That's just my default, I guess. I could always just like do this and just put this like way over here.
Well, maybe I was also reducing your volume as you said that, so.
Yeah, I'm always really loud for some reason.
All right, yeah. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, there's not mostly. So if you're new to our dev streams, I usually always start out at the beginning with business stuff. Here's what's going on with the studio and RainyGames, and I don't really have anything to report because either A, I can't talk about it yet, or B, we've been so busy this month that we haven't done anything. I haven't done the Patreon stuff. I haven't, which I will get to, I promise. because we love our Patreon backers. But it's just, yeah, it's been hectic, and so there's just not a lot really going on that isn't development, which is the rest of what we're going to be talking about. So the only other thing I could say is that t-shirts are still on sale. If you want to go buy a t-shirt, a RainyGames t-shirt, I'll drop a link for you guys if anybody is interested. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The only other kind of businessy things to really talk about is more SunnySide related, specifically in that we can't say what, and we don't know when. We know it's this week, but there's going to be some marketing stuff coming out finally. We had some weird pauses with marketing because we had some ideas for our timeline, and then Rainy got sick, and then it messed up the timeline, so we kind of like halted marketing for a period of time, which is why it's been a little bit more quiet. But now that we're moving again and kind of catching up and all that stuff, we can actually start doing more fun marketing things. So keep your eyes peeled, I guess. Don't really know what it's happening, but it's not like a big announcement or anything. Nobody get excited. It's just we have like a fun trailer coming out. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So yeah. It seems there's more diversity in Rainy. What does that mean? Ray, what are you talking about?
I think it's either the music that you heard at the start, or the fact that there were a lot of people walking around in the seasonal event.
What?
Either of those two.
What are you talking about? I'm lost.
I guess we'll see.
What? What?
What? Why are you so confused?
I answered Ray's question, and then you were talking about something completely different. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Oh, well, with the diversity, I was I thought the question was about the music. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's the fact that we have like a fully acoustic track. We don't have any of those other than the seasonal events, right?
Yeah, I'm really confused.
Yeah. No, like diversity in the music, so that's good. Yeah.
It says diversity in Rainy.
I think it's diversity in, Rainy.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, today our list is actually mostly, well, not mostly, all of it is stuff that are in the engine and in the game.
Yep.
So we are going to be launching the game and going over some of the areas that we're really excited to show you guys and talk about. So without further ado, oh, no worries, Ray. All good.
It's just me. I'm dumb. That's really all it comes down to.
Without further ado, let's see if this is adjusted actually. Hey, we're good. Okay. Awesome.
What? I
was just wondering if my layout was all good. We are going to open Unreal Engine and go into the map, and pretty much most of everything else is going to be happening in the game.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and launch this. And I'm gonna disable all these messages on the screen so you guys can actually see the game without interruptions.
Look at you with your fancy background.
Hey, thank you. That's a new render I'll need to send you. It's the best one.
It's nice, I like it.
Thank you. I'm gonna reduce the master volume so that Sydney won't get drowned out too much. So let's go into a new game. So the first thing we're going to go into and talk about is the fertilizing system. Now you might be wondering, fertilizing usually isn't that big of a system. Why did we give it its own section? Well, because it wasn't.
Big deal.
It wasn't a big deal at the start. But Sydney, since the start, she wanted to put so much attention on the actual farming side of the game, which is good. I mean, it's a farming game after all.
It's a farm game.
It's a farm/social game. But yeah, the farm aspect is something that we're so proud of because of this. And so the fertilizing system that we have in the game now is pretty much an amalgamation of a lot of brainstorm sessions of what is happening in real life, which, I'm usually really bad at that part of it because I really don't have any experience with farming in real life. As well as what we can do in the engine. Yeah, but you seem to know a lot more than I do. I had no idea what a seed catalog was until you
because
I was like, you just go
research
to your
things.
local seed shop and
No,
buy
only
it.
if you want garbage seeds. With some exceptions, there's exceptions, but no. I mean, I researched. That's really what it comes down to. I've attempted to grow things, but Texas had other plans.
That's a good point. What is the thing that Texas do then?
Bugs.
Ah,
So many bugs.
yeah.
Just so many bugs.
Well, actually, funny enough, we are going to talk about that a bit later too. So, and hopefully there'll
All
be a
the
lot of
bugs.
them as well. Not programming bugs, like actual critters. Hello, hi everybody. No worries, Greedy. You're right on time as we're about to talk about the actual stuff in the game. So, do you want to explain it? Should I start? What do you think?
Explain fertilizing?
Yeah, I actually need to clean out the area and start digging some
So you
plots
want me
of
to
soil.
talk
So do you
about
wanna
fertilizing?
give an
while
intro?
you- Okay, I
Yeah,
see. Okay.
give an intro.
So, when it comes to fertilizer in SunnySide, again, we look at. I can't get my camera framed right. I've been playing with this and I can't get it where I want it to be.
Do you want me to move you on my side?
No,
Okay.
no, it's fine. We were kind of looking at how fertilizing happens in other farm games. That's where we always start. Like, what did the other guys do? Why did they do it that way? Was it because of limitations, or was it because an actual gameplay loop they wanted to create? And then it was, okay, now how's it done in real life? And then what can we take from real life to make what was done in previous farm games better? If you don't know, that's kind of been our method for every
gonna
system.
cheat, sorry.
Is that process? And so with fertilizing, most of the other games, as far as we could tell, it was kind of like a thing that you put down to the soil before you plant your plant. Sometimes it stayed forever, sometimes it didn't. It just kind of depends on the game. And for the most part, there's always a couple different things that it'll do, either speed up growth or give you better quality crops. I think, was there a yield? I think other people have done yield ones too, where you get more crops. So we kind of looked at all that information and had to compare to, okay, what does fertilizer do in real life? So fertilizer definitely does all of those things. It can make your crops grow faster. It can speed up how quickly. Oh wait, no, I said that. Make them grow faster. Can improve quality, and you can kind of improve yield with fertilizer. Fertilizer inherently is just adding nutrients back into the soil and making sure that your plants, your tomatoes, your peppers, whatever, get the nutrients that they need to create fruit. So the first problem we ran into is one of the things that we decided to not have in SunnySide is a quality system. So there are no gold star crops. There's nothing has a quality variable on it. There's a rarity variable in other stuff, but nothing has quality. So that already immediately limited what we could do for fertilizer. So we had to look at, what do we want it to do, how do we want it to work? So the next point of it was okay, how do we apply it? Do we want it to be something you just put into the ground once? Do we want it to be something that changes over time? How do we want it to be placed? So there were a lot of questions that we had to answer. And I think what we finally settled on is pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good.
But I'll let you kind of take it from there.
Yeah, sure.
The thing that you really need to know about fertilizer in SunnySide is you've got solid fertilizer, you've got liquid fertilizer. Solid fertilizer can be made on your farm with composted items. We have a compost bin, or it can be purchased at the garden center and stuff. And liquid fertilizer is similar. You can purchase it, or you can make it. But you don't make liquid fertilizer. You use the byproducts of other things, such as food crafting. For instance, when you make cheese, you get a byproduct, which is whey, and you can use whey as a fertilizer in your garden. So that's kind of how you get it. From there, it's how you apply it, which I know Rainy's very excited to show you guys. So
yeah. So how you apply fertilizer to your plot of land. as Sydney mentioned, essentially, fertilizer is something that you inherently add to the plot of soil that you have in the ground, the one that you dug, the one that you can plant stuff into. It is independent of the crop that is in the soil. So as you can see, we have actually updated the little indicator that is above the piece of soil that shows you how much you have watered the crop. If you had played the alpha version, you remember that the little water icon would only show up when you would water it, and then it would disappear as soon as you have fully watered it, and it would actually not appear above pieces of soil that were not watered to begin with. So we changed that. It's always there now unless you fill it. And right next to it, there's another icon that is for the fertilizer. So you can add fertilizer at any point to a piece of soil. And each crop in the game has something we call the consumption rate. So you can treat it as food, which is what it is. You put the food in the ground and the plant eats it. So if I actually go ahead and, by the way, we have done a lot of polishing and updates to. I say that as the water thingy goes on my feet. You can ignore that. That is, I blame the QA for that. But as you can see, the water icon is now disappeared, and we actually have two new items here called Liquid Sprayer and Broadcaster. So Liquid Sprayer, you can spray liquids out of it. That includes any liquid. As Cindy said, anything can be a fertilizer, so you can use byproducts of food crafting as fertilizer for your crops. But we also just have a normal generic liquid fertilizer that you can buy at the shop. So I grab the liquid fertilizer and it works normally just like the hose would, and that's how I apply the fertilizer to the piece of land. A little side note, you can put any liquids in this, and some liquids act as water, so you can water your crops independent of the hose itself. So you can go into a house, and if you don't have the hose handy, you can just use the liquid sprayer to water what's inside. That was a question that we had asked a lot in the past, so that's your answer. But essentially, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just going to touch on that.
Yeah.
We've said for a long time that we hate watering cans, and then we decided we wanted people to be able to put plants inside their houses, and then it was, well, crap, now we're going to need watering cans.
But it's not a watering can. We made sure it's not called a watering can. And just to pretty much bring it all back together, the other item is called Broadcaster, and I know it's a funny name, but it's actually what it's called. It essentially shoots out solids, so we can put our solid fertilizer inside of that, and anything else that might be solid that you might be able to put in it. And then, yeah, it's the same situation. You just kind of fertilize it, and as you can see, now that piece of land is fertilized, and they're all fertilized. So what's going to happen is, once I sleep and wake up, this piece of land, the fertilizer indicator on it is going to go down very slowly because nothing's in it. While this one with tomatoes in it, the indicator is going to go down a lot quicker and in bigger amounts, because the plant itself, the idea is that the plant is consuming the nutrients. And it's, as I said, it's different for every crop, and you will actually be able to read that information in SunnySide at what the consumption rate for the crop is. Yeah. So that's pretty much our fertilizing system. I think I'm at a very happy place with it. I think it's very SunnySide, and it works really well with the world, and it works really well with the game and all the other stuff that are implemented. Yeah.
Any
no worries,
questions?
Pat. Hi. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, we can be more than happy to answer. Also, you can ignore the lines shooting up into the sky. That's actually something that's coming up.
That's in game engine stuff. To answer Ken's question, so the two different types of fertilizer we landed on are speed of growth and quantity, because we couldn't do quality. So, so for ours, you can do it before, and you have to do it during, because if the crop eats up all your fertilizer before it's finished growing, you're going to have to reapply it. So, yeah. Why is watermelon? I disagree. Watermelon, I don't think is the best fruit.
Watermelon
Is
is
it
good.
code heavy? Oh, that's a good question. Is the fertilizer system code heavy?
Not really. It's content heavy. Because if you
Yeah.
think about it, each crop in the game we need to go into and give it a consumption rate. But in itself, no, it's not very code heavy at all. We put
I
it
think
together
that's
in
like
1 day in the game.
I'd say that's the definition of most of SunnySide, is that it's not code heavy, it's content heavy. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
have switched to here because Unreal Engine crashed, by the way.
Oh, shocker.
So, shocker. Yeah, we're going to wait for that to load. But yeah. Idle animations. Yeah, actually, I'm glad you noticed. I connected the code up. We had that for a very long time, but it was not connected up because there was some weirdness with it. I fixed the weirdness. So a little shout out to Ken, and this isn't on the list, but we should just quickly talk about it while the engine is coming back up. Yeah, Ken essentially
Ken's
put
an
together.
animation beast.
He is an absolute animation beast, and one problems with the SunnySide that a lot of you guys have been vocal about has been animations in the past during the alpha. We pretty much changed our process on animation and how we approach it. So Ken has been going through and essentially making unique animations for every character in the game. This includes like idles and sitting animations, so no more hands hovering over the knees, no more legs crossing into each other. When we're back into the engine, you'll be able to see that when the character's running and walking now, the legs do not cross. They don't go into each other anymore.
Nuts.
Yeah. That was actually a fix I implemented into the walking system that we used. Yeah, where essentially it will separate the legs when you're walking and puts them back together when you stop. Because what was happening in the past is that when we actually get the legs closer together, like a normal standing pose, then when you walk, the legs would cross into each other. But when we open the legs up so that when you would walk, they won't cross into each other, then all the characters look like this. It's just like Butch standing. So it's a mix of both, and it works so much better. Yeah, shout out to Ken for that incredible job.
My cat's being weird.
Right, so next up, we are going to talk about pretty much.
Oh,
this is
Jack's got a question.
Oh, what is the question?
What can you compost to get fertilizer? The answer is just about anything. So one of the byproducts in the game is called organic scrap. It comes from cooking. It comes from harvesting product, like your crops. It comes from cleaning out your animal pens. So anytime you get organic scrap, that is something that you can put into the compost bin. And then you let it cook and do its thing, and then you eventually get compost. The thing that I was the most excited about, honestly, was the cooking and harvesting aspect of it, specifically because it's always kind of bothered me, the idea that when you go to harvest wheat, or corn is a great example, there's so much of the plant that you don't use. Because you think you just eat the little ears of corn, right? But you have these giant corn stalks. What happens to that? And what happens to that in real farms is it gets composted and then turned into fertilizer. And that's organic material that you can use to then put nutrients back in the ground to grow your next plants. And it's a really cool way of like passing those nutrients forward. And I really wanted to have that in the game, so we were able to make it so that there are certain crops, when you harvest them, you get a bunch of organic scrap, like those corn stalks or the wheat stalks. Like, wheat's another great example. Wheat, can be 3-4 feet tall, but what you're pulling off are these tiny little berries just on the end piece. But you've got all this leftover material. So... I'm weirdly excited about that. I don't know why, but
No, I think it's absolutely valid to be excited about it.
Homestead, you're very welcome. it's actually do you have the engine up, or can I'm gonna talk
if you can keep it for when we're
I
going
will
to
stall.
open the persistent map. Yeah, so I'm actually in the test map because it's easier to show the greenhouses here. And then we hop over there because we're going to talk about critters and, you know, other interesting.
Critters.
You know that hotspot that I was talking about? Actually works really well. The one that you put at the farm with all the critter spawn points. If you don't know what I'm talking about, yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should join our dev streams. We're doing more of them in the server, so keep an eye out for that. And if you haven't, in the server, in the passport channel, you can sign up for stream updates, and that'll tell you whenever we're going to be doing a dev stream. Anyway, I am going to shut up about that and actually show you guys how. If Unreal wouldn't cover these windows for me, that'll be great, so I can see chat while this is happening. I'm also missing so much of the chat, but I love you guys.
It's okay, I got
Doesn't change that. So, this is a weird thing to be excited about, but and this is kind of the precursor to talking about the greenhouses. But we have unified our grid system. So if you're, again, have played the alpha, you might remember the painful days where the grid system was just not working at all and everything was kind of out of whack, and yeah. So we have unified the grid system, and what I mean by that is that the grid system you get when you're, you know, doing farming is the same one as you get in build mode. And it's a 1 meter by 1 meter grid. Simple as that.
He's very excited that we finally standardized this.
God, I am. And thankfully, and this is like a little bit of a dev lesson for me. Try to establish standards in your game as early as you can. We were lucky that Blender, the 3D modeling program that Ken uses to make a lot of these models, also uses a 1 meter by 1 meter grid. So we got really lucky on that front. But please do that as a dev.
What I think we got lucky on, see, what Rainy doesn't know is that Ken and I standardized the building structure and everything a long time ago. What Rainy doesn't know is that, or what is beneficial is the fact that our plant plots were so close to a meter without you trying. That's where we got lucky.
It was 96 centimeters.
Yeah.
And we pushed it to a meter. But what that means is that this grid is the same one as you get in the farming. Now, why am I so excited about this? Because now when I go down to put a greenhouse, and when you actually move it, it moves by half a meter. So you can like have a bit of more control when you're putting smaller stuff down. But if you move it into the grid itself, then you can put it perfectly on the grid, so you know exactly how many plots of land you are going to get when you dig inside of that greenhouse. And we have a bunch of different sizes of these greenhouses, if the dog could not get in my way. We have a bigger, fully glass one, as you can see. We have one that I don't know how to name these. This one that has wood and glass on it. This is and then my favorite extra large greenhouse, crazy big one, yeah, which has like an entrance area. Now, what is cool is this is still the same build mode as we had in the past, which means that you can go inside and you can place down things in here too. So you don't have to, in the greenhouse, dig down the soil. You can just actually put in planters and do the same thing in the planter itself. And it would work the exact same way. You can fertilize it, you can water it, everything would work absolutely fine. Now, the cool thing is, and I'm actually going to put something, actually no, we need to dig it, never mind. So, we're going to close this up. And actually, I am going to move to an area that I already have prepared behind me. I always have to skip time, because it starts at very dark hours of the morning. But if we zoom all the way across the map over there, you can see that I have some of these greenhouses that are already placed for me. And this is actually a very good time to look at this differences between the size of these.
Real quick, I'm just going to say, I'm glad you said that it's like a tiny house. Is it Pame or Pame Chan? Because we were actually laughing about that the other day. We were talking about how you could, as the player, if you wanted to, you could just toss a bed inside the greenhouse and live in there. There's nothing that will stop you from doing that, which we think is great. Because some of them I think are really cute. I would totally use that as a house. The only downside is you don't have a floor.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you want to live in the dirt, that's cool.
Yeah, but there's no gameplay ramification for any of that, right? Nope. Yeah, nope. So I could just...
It's just visual.
Go ahead and build that bed over there and sleep in it. Now, what do the greenhouses do? This is an area where, I mean, it's pretty much the same as you're familiar with farming games. Although there are some farming games that did it very differently. Namely, Harvest Moon did a different thing where you would actually set a season for the greenhouse. It was kind of related to magic. It was kind of cool. It worked with the framework of the game because they had magic involved. You could grab like the sun for summer or sun for autumn from somewhere and put it in there. Very Japanese, as you can imagine. But
Sure.
how the greenhouses work in SunnySide is that whatever piece of soil that you put inside of the greenhouse, the game will know that it's in the greenhouse, and
It knows.
yeah, it knows, and then it essentially ignores season. So it ignores grow season. So it'll just grow, and fruit inside of that, it will just completely ignore that. I have a piece of rye in there and one outside. They're both rye, as you can see on the icon. Trying to zoom on it. And if I use my little menu, which simulates day passage for these plots, actually, let's go inside and do it from indoors. It's a bit more fun to just be inside and look through the window and see that one not grow.
Laugh at it from afar.
Laugh at it, yeah. You can see that this one is growing nicely, and that one is just like nothing is happening to it. And yeah, that's how the greenhouses work in SunnySide. And
Now make it snow.
now we shall make it snow. Now I have made.
I
some
know you worked
changes.
so hard.
Yeah, I hope it works fine. It should work fine. I guess we'll see. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Good. It works. Right. So it's snowing. The snow is collecting outside, and actually, if you get the camera a little bit closer to the ground, you can actually see snow kind of settle on the ground. I know this is something you guys are excited about because in one of Dr. D-Dub's videos, he really focused on this, and you all loved it. So I'm gonna show it in its full glory. You can see the snow starts settling down, and actually, if I go back to my character, I am leaving footprints in the snow, but the indoors are absolutely fine. There's some leakage, which we are trying to fix, but other than the leakage, essentially the inside of your greenhouses are absolutely fine. And weather doesn't affect it. It stays nice and cozy and warm. Same thing applies to rain. In fact, if I make it rain right now, it is going to melt the snow. So let's get pretty close to the ground again. You can see that the snow is melting. It's going down nicely. And it is going to get wet because both the snow has melted and it's raining, but inside of the greenhouses there's no rain. You can only see the rain on the windows. Also, a little extra point is that when the snow melts, it leaves puddles behind. That, yeah. Pretty happy with these. And you guys have been asking for greenhouses for the longest time, so here it is. Here is all the info that you needed about them. We can ignore the
Rainy's
people
very
dancing.
proud.
Also, actually, it's not just the greenhouses that do that. If I make it, really snowy again. Sorry about the snow sounds. It's really loud, I know. Any surface that has a cover above it is going to have this similar effect. Now, this one is a bit open in the front, so there's some snow getting in, as you can see. But that area is fully covered, so there's no snow getting there. Yeah.
I love your little YMCA.
YMCA characters over there, yeah. I don't know if YMCA is copyrighted, so I'm a bit iffy about looking at the animation. Yeah. So, we're gonna let you guys... what's after greenhouses that we're talking about? I think we're talking about grid system.
What's going to happen is I'm going to answer a couple questions very quickly. No, you don't have to wear different clothes in different weather. You can, but because we took out a lot of the survival elements that I think people would kind of be expecting, like, having to dress warm in the winter, or weather effects hurting you, or getting sick if you're caught in the rain. We got rid of a lot of that stuff. We want the game to be fun and relaxing, not like stressful. So if it starts snowing, when you're outside, we don't have to be like, oh god, I gotta go change my clothes real quick. So, no. Can you, for your own immersion? Go for it. Will you be penalized if you're too lazy like me? No.
Yeah. Again, it goes back into what we talked about in our podcast. There is no reason, there's no intent behind it. If we were to add a survival system, that's it. It's super separated from every other system in the game, right? So
Yeah,
there would
the
just
only
need to be no
survival
point in it.
type element that we have is that you need to eat.
Hmm.
And you don't need to eat in order to play. So it's not even really a survival thing. It's just we kind of went more the route with Valheim of like you can absolutely run around and go talk to people whenever on an empty stomach. That's fine. But if you want to do anything, that requires energy, then you have to eat. So it's not like Stardew where if you don't eat and then you run out of energy and then you pass out. We took that out.
Rebecca, yes, you can build a snowman through the build mode.
It's build mode, yep.
Doesn't have to be a snowman. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no like animation for you building a snowman, but you can like place down snowmen.
Yeah, that global warming really hitting SunnySide. So we're gonna answer more questions because we need to load up the main map, and that'll give us some time to take a break between this and the next thing we're gonna talk about, which is the critter system that I'm really excited about. But before we do that, I'm gonna actually go over another system that is pretty much the last bit of this that I wanted to go over. Essentially, since we have fixed the grid, it also automatically fixed a lot of issues that we had with, dare I say it, the cabinets in the kitchen in the game. So a lot of you that were playing the alpha and were absolute big fans of build modes in games might remember how horrible of an experience that was trying to get it to line up, because it would never line up accurately. So now, because we have the grid working fine, we actually modeled or adjusted some of these models to our grid. And now this isn't just because of the grid, it's also because of the origin point of the cabinet itself. But that means that I can go ahead and place one down and another one exactly next to it if the game allows me to do that. There we go. And then a corner piece would just fit into place quite nicely like that. And if I misplace something, I can move it easily back to that location that it needs to otherwise be at. And yeah, it just works. Dare I say it. And as always, these are now blueprints that you need to build. And now we don't have the actual items down yet, so I just use softwood for everything that we don't have the requirements down for just yet. But essentially, you need to build them. Don't forget, you can go into your toolbar and toggle the build mode visibility. That'll help you kind of be able to visualize your farm better before everything is fully built. But once you get all the stuff, I'm going to use a cheat and build everything. And there you go, nicely together. Tiny bit of gap over there, I don't know why, but other than that, really nicely piled up. It is so much better, yeah. Thank God for metric. I know, Ken. we don't do imperial here, except for temperature, I guess. That's not imperial, is it? What is the American unit of measurement system called? Is it imperial?
Imperial.
It is imperial.
Yeah. Yeah. Guess where we got it from?
Well, yeah.
Guess.
Probably,
Guess who gave it to us?
I know, because I was like, you guys don't have an emperor. Why is it called imperial? Well, I was like, okay.
We got it from the UK.
Yes. And
we
do actually have a king now, so you know.
We never got rid of it. Sorry,
you should have. You should have. No, you should have. It's bad.
Nah, I like imperial. I'm a fan. What I will say.
Yeah, so we're gonna switch actually to the
about units.
Thingy.
Just one thing. Freedom units. Fahrenheit is better than Celsius.
No, I'm just so wrong in so many levels.
Period.
I'm not going to. You guys measure stuff in football fields, man. Come on, you don't have a lot to say in this one. Yeah, it's like every time I'm reading some scientific paper, not scientific paper, I'm reading some article, and there's a unit of measurement in it. It's like, oh yeah, it was 5 football fields long. I'm like, how long is a football field? Is that like common knowledge in America?
It's 100 yards.
There you go. I guess it's common knowledge in America. Thank you for proving my point.
Yes, it is a good unit of measure.
What the fuck is a kilometer?
Okay, so are there grid restrictions? 2 different objects cannot be together too close. essentially there are certain items that can't touch each other, and there are certain items that can be stacked on top of each other. Those are pretty much the build restrictions. So like you can't put items inside of each other and things like that. It's not really a grid restriction because you can free move things.
Mhm.
It's the restriction is the object itself. They have collision, so you can't put things inside other things.
Couldn't have put it better myself. And yeah, you still have like precision movement in free place mode. We don't limit you because you know what? The first thing that, and I swear to God, somebody's gonna figure it out, or we're gonna add a cheat for it, or something like that. But people love turning off collisions in build modes, and I understand because people want to be creative, and you want to just make whatever you want to make. There was this, and I'm sure there are tons of these challenges, build challenges in Sims, but there was this build challenge that I really loved in Sims 4, which was making tiny apartments with things intersecting into each other,
Right.
and you have to turn off collision for it in the first thing. So I'm not sure. Maybe we had a cheat for it. Maybe we just make it an option. I don't know. Because it would obviously break some immersion, but also it'll allow creativity. So it's like a really kind of a gray area for me, just thinking about it. Yeah. If you guys have ideas, let us know. How we can approach that.
All right. I think it's critter time.
Yeah, well, persistent is loading, so shoot us your questions and we can answer them.
I forgot the thing that I was going to talk about that you paused me on. So.
Oh, damn it. Well, it was about fertilizers, wasn't it? Or greenhouses?
I don't remember. What I did want to do a little bit of a shout out to Epic Gardening, who, if you guys have not been paying attention, is the influencer that we've kind of partnered up with, who's been helping us a lot in terms of kind of being there if we have questions, but also inspiring us with ideas for how to make the game more realistic or whatever. It's Kevin at Spiritu over Epic Gardening and his team. They're all awesome. And as kind of a thank you to them, we put them in the game. Yeah. So he announced that on his Twitter the other day. We did some others for other people who have been instrumental in helping us. We'll let them announce it
themselves, I guess.
Yeah, we let them announce it themselves. Yeah. So there are a couple other people who have some. They are allowed to talk about them if they want to, but they don't have to if they don't want to. I'm leaving it up to said people. But yeah, it's just kind of a fun thing. If you were watching in the intro video, the guy in the big puffy green jacket, that was Kevin Espiritu, kind of walking around in the background. So how did I miss this? Do they have socials? Yes. So you can literally just Google Epic Gardening and you'll get all the things. Kevin is, I think, the biggest gardening YouTube channel. I think, if I remember right.
I think so too. I don't follow many, but he's really
good. He's also on TikTok. He's got Twitter.
Yeah, he has a Discord as well. Yeah, please join him.
He does have a Discord. They have actually Alan modeled the little faceless guys, as we call them. But
we might come across them in a bit for the festivals.
So I was just going to mention that so Epic Gardening has the Epic Gardening channel. They also have Epic Homesteading, which is where we've gotten a lot of ideas from for the game. They also have other influencers that have channels within the Epic Gardening name. So there's what's it? I forget what Jacques' channel is called. But Jacques got a channel. They've got a couple others that are like affiliated. So yeah, definitely go check them out.
And Ryuku, are you able to drive one of the small K trucks? Absolutely. It's one of the main mechanics of the game. Yeah. We have put a lot of videos of it on Twitter because people eat that up. Like anytime we put any video of the vehicles, it's just like, damn. Like, yeah. You can actually drive the K truck. You can also load it up with items, and it's actually a full mechanic where we're going to talk about the farmers market. And actually, no, we're not talking about farmers market today. We're talking about another festival. But
I said we should. You said around. No.
I said because it wasn't ready. And you also have a Vespa like motorbike. Vespa's actually I believe, trademarked brand, so we can't just say Vespa. Scooter, I guess, as well as a bicycle. And they all have inventories on them, some bigger than others, as you can imagine. And Kiralia, that's a really cool name, by the way. Yes, that's exactly the command I was talking about in Sims. It is the best.
Yeah, he spilled the beans without spilling the beans.
If you could
actually, there were no beans to spill.
You. Go ahead.
For the farmers market, it's something that was in the alpha like it was in a dialogue. It was hidden in the dialogue in the alpha. But yeah, so I guess I might as well talk about it since you mentioned it. So a lot of people have been asking, how are you selling stuff? We got rid of the shipping bin, because I don't get it and I think it's weird. And there was a lot of speculation that you'd have like a shop where you could sell stuff. There was a lot of spec, or that you'd have to run a shop or you'd run a restaurant. So none of that's true. There is a farmers market every 2 weeks, in the festival grounds, and that's where you go to sell your stuff. So that's pretty much it. It's not as exciting, I don't think, as like running a shop that you get to decorate and stuff, because that honestly would have been way too much for us to implement. We do want to add stuff to the farmers market eventually later. So we got some ideas. But right now you go on Saturday and Sunday? Saturday. Sunday?
Sundays, yeah. It's
Sunday. You go on Sunday and you put all your stuff in the box. And then you come back and it's all done. Well, no, it's more complicated than that.
Yeah, so you get a cutscene of like how many people are there, and there's a bit of RNG involved. But as Sydney said, yeah, we have ideas. I'm not going to share any of them because they're all just ideas. But yeah, I always wanted to be able to customize boots and stuff. I think it was a wonderful life that you had a little kind of like a little shop kind of building that you could put stuff in. It was great. I loved it. So can you haggle? No, you need to play Baldur's Gate for that.
Yeah. Reading some of these, is there still caves in combat? Of course. We're just not showing it because that's the main story and we don't want to ruin anything. Can we sell our stuff to the SunnySide restaurant? If they want to buy it, sure. I mean, you can't go sell them, I don't know, wood, because they're not going to want it. But if it's food
almost
and it's edible,
every vendor buys stuff, but they have a list of stuff.
They buy something, but they all buy different things,
But what we wanted you guys to do, like what we wanted to push the players to do, was to just essentially put all of your stuff in the back of a truck, ride through town, and sell them around to the shops around town. If you're not doing farmers market, or in addition to it, really. We are in the engine if you want to pause some of the questions and go through some systems and then come back. Yeah, so we're going to talk about the critter system. So we talked about this a long time ago. I think it was almost a year ago, where we went over our Critter Discover app that you have on your phone, or Critter Log app. I called it Critter Discover at first, but then Critter Log was better, obviously.
What's it called in Animal Crossing?
Critterpedia.
That's clever.
That's very clever. So, how do critters spawn in SunnySide? So we have fish, birds, and insects as critters. Now, fish are obvious. They'll be in bodies of water around the map, and there are different types of fish that spawn at different seasons during different weather in different parts of the map. Good luck, Wiki team.
Seriously.
But the insects and birds is a really cool one. And initially, I was just going to say that, oh, I'm so proud of it. I put it together. But honestly, Sydney kind of came in clutch and did a lot of the actual placement of the sockets too. Yeah. So birds and bugs spawn on surfaces as well as trees and other objects in your farm. So these objects can be crops. These objects can be pots and stuff that have crops and flowers in them. Or it can be a tree that you might see a bird in, or see a bug on the side of it. Now, as I said, there are also surfaces that the bugs and birds spawn at. So if you look over there, you can see there's a bird that just spawned on. I just scared away. But it was sitting up there, and there's more spawning in that little corner. So if I actually grab my drone, now actually wait, I'm gonna give it a tiny bit of more info and context in something like Animal Crossing, which I personally think is the champion and king of all the critter systems in games. You actually catch them, and then you take them to the museum, you give them to Blathers, and he either is terrified of them or thank you for it. No idea. But in our game, we essentially had to weave it into other systems that we have in the game. We didn't want to just give you a net, a bug net, and tell you to go catch them, especially with birds. That doesn't work really well for birds.
But also, you should not be catching bugs and taking them out of their natural environment. It's not good.
That's fair. That's fair. But
if you do, Riosa's going to yell at you.
Yeah, Ryozo will be.
He tells you.
Anahita
don't
probably
take
will
bugs
yell at you
out of
just
their
as
environment.
Oh my god, look at your hot zone. Look at the mess you've made. There's so many. But yeah.
I think you just need to widen the area.
Yeah, probably. So this box will eventually actually go fully around the bird or bug. It's not at the moment, as you can see. But essentially, yeah, you take a photo of the bird or bug, and then it'll be saved onto the app in your phone. Now, to actually get these submitted, you need to take a trip down to the field lab. We used to call it a research center. It's just called Higashi University Field Lab. It's the field lab branch of the Higashi University. What are you laughing?
The fact that you feel the need to explain that is funny to me.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, there are lots of bugs here that are spawning. They are spawning at a much higher rate at the moment, so that we can find more of them more easily. But it's going to be a bit more of a grind for you guys. If you know the critter, it'll put a name above it. I did not steal this from Tears of the Kingdom. Stop saying that. And then I'm going to... Those are just the voices in my head. None of you said that. Anyway, that's how you capture photos from them. And actually, I can make them all run away if I just run into them. Go away. Same thing happens to bugs.
To be fair, that's why I put so many of them near each other, because I wanted you to run by them. I wanted to fly away.
Let's go fly away. Birds also spawn on these. As you can see, there are a bunch of them spawned over there, on the little power lines. Because I mean, they just do that. They have to. Now for bugs, I'm hoping to see some. I can't force it though. That's the thing. That's a bit difficult about the system. It's just they just have to spawn. There was a butterfly that would always spawn on this trash can over here. Is that the butterfly? No. Bye, bird. Bye. Hi, bird. That bird keeps spawning in front of me. I'm waiting for a butterfly to spawn. Where should I go?
Are all the tree sockets working?
Well, I did not import the trees because LODs are a massive thing to go through.
Oh. I don't know what to tell you then.
Oh, there's a birdie over there. Hi.
I can tell you some spots where I put down bugs, but if you don't have them on the trees.
Maybe? Huh? Should find them.
That's a good question, Homestead. We'll show you guys. We're gonna show them the field lab, right?
Yeah, we are gonna go there.
Yeah,
and submit.
We're gonna show you the field lab, and the field lab has like blank spaces on the wall, and you fill them up. So, you won't know what is missing, unfortunately, but you'll know that something is missing.
So at this point, there's another bird over there. I just saw. At this point, they're just much easier to see. In the app itself, if you open it up, you'd be able to see that obviously I don't have any insects scanned just yet, but in the bird section, I have a bunch of them now scanned up. So I have this guy, Fairy Pitta, I think that's how you say it, Eastern Yellow Wagtail. And there will be a little check mark next to it once you have submitted it to the field lab. So let us take a trip to field lab. Maybe we see some bugs on the way there. Gonna take me a minute because it's all the way across town. No, we're gonna take which way? Let's just
oh, that's a good question. Who made the bug and bird models? So this is really complicated. So the bugs and birds were actually a two-step process. They were first drawn. So when you open up your critter log, there are very beautifully drawn pictures of all of them. And then those pictures were taken, turned into textures, and then put on the models by Ken. So Laura did the beautiful drawings, and then Ken did the models and rigged them and all that stuff. This is a question out of the Discord. As for the favorites, I can tell you that Laura hated drawing every single bug that she had to draw. I don't know what her favorites were. I think in the end it became more of a task than like anything that was interesting or fun. I don't know, Ken, you're in here. Were there any that you had fun modeling? I don't know. I feel like once you get into a production, I don't think anybody really enjoys modeling or drawing at the production level because it's just repetitive. It's just high quantity content.
Yeah.
I can tell you there are no bug spawners between where you're at now and the field lab.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm hoping some trees might have some bugs on them. But I'll show you guys the butterflies. Don't worry. I worked too hard on the AI. Not to.
Let's see. Follow-up. Is there an indication when we're hovering over a critter that we have it or have not registered it in the log yet? There is.
Yeah, it's the name that shows up above it, as well as the border goes green if you have it. If you don't, I should be having a vehicle by this point, but I'm just running in the roads. And it's okay, because that's actually pretty common in rural Japan, Sydney was saying yesterday.
Yeah. Also, thank you, Ken. I forgot. Ken did all the birds, the models. And you did the textures, too, so you didn't use the drawings for those.
There was a bird that just spawned there. Nice.
Yeah, we modified a store asset for the birds.
So, I'm at the field lab. I am going to go to the makeshift hill that I just put down before the stream because we actually don't have one put down in there. We need to do that. Anyway, Anahita
we don't have what put down?
me a till put down register at the research center. So, you have an option that says submit critter log data. You click on that, and this is dialogue that I've written that has not been approved just yet, so please don't judge me too hardly. She's the one that writes, not me. But she's happy to get your data updated, and she has updated all of our findings with the archives, and she thanks us for that. You actually do get friendship points with Anahita and Ryoza for doing this. So if you want to romance them, do that. But I go to the upstairs, which is our version of the museum, I guess. But you can see some of the photos I've taken. They're on the walls, and these are literally just the photos that we just took. This. Yeah. I love the delay.
Yeah.
But essentially, once you're done taking photos of all of these critters, these rooms will be full of pictures. So this is a room for birds, and I'm gonna move to the other room. This one is the one for the bugs, which I actually couldn't find any, or didn't try to find any. And then this is where the fish would go. The fish would work a little bit differently. Anytime you catch a fish, critter log will just record the data for it. Essentially what location you caught it at and how big it was and what's the shape of it and everything. You don't actually need to give them the fish because it will be dead by then. You essentially just upload the data again for the fish itself. Yeah. And the fish will show up in these tanks. The idea is that they just go and catch one themselves and just put it here.
Yep.
And this is the room for it. Shout out to Liz for putting these rooms together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Pat.
Welcome back. Can you sell fish?
Of course
Absolutely.
You can sell your fish. Yeah. That's
you
how
can
you
also
make money.
cook it. We have so many recipes that include fish.
Yeah,
I mean,
we do.
Japan. Of course we do.
At what market? There's a lot of markets.
Farmers market, probably.
Yeah, you can sell your fish at the farmers market. I mean, Kyle's not going to love it, but, it's fine.
Competition. You said Kyle, something funny happened earlier. I was in the festival grabbing that nice footage of Josh playing the guitar. And Kyle just walked in front of the camera.
Wait, hold on. Which way are you running?
Oh, right. I should not go.
Stop.
You know what? I'm just going to press home. That's
yes, thank
safe.
you.
That's an area that only QA is allowed to see at the moment. And, yeah, team as well.
And I'm behind, too, so I was like, I saw you turn, I went, no!
I'm already there now. Yeah, but yeah, you can. Anyway.
Go that way.
It's cool that the photos go on the wall, and you know, here's a funny little secret about how the system works. We have a folder called the critter data alongside your save file, wherever the save file is, and that's where the images go. So, you know, if you were to alter the image and save it, it is going to show up in the field lab, whatever you put in it. So, yeah, if you want to put a selfie of yourself on the wall, go ahead and do that. And, you know, I kind of don't want to change that because it just reminds me of the old days of PC gaming where you could just change files like that and the game would just accept it. That's like the simplest form of modding in SunnySide. Just don't put anything bad on there, please. It's your responsibility if you do. It's not ours. Okay. So that's actually everything on the critter system stuff. What is next?
No, you gotta find bugs.
I gotta find bugs. All right.
You gotta find a bug.
Let me get my camera out. Hopefully that'll help. And I'm with you guys. The critter camera is really dark. I am adjusting that. Actually, the first person that told us about that was Kyle. So, yeah, we know essentially. Where is a bug? Hold on. That's how you change your background? Yeah, isn't
so
it?
Dark.
I remember now. I think you can turn on your... Yeah, you can turn on your flashlight, which turns the game onto almost into a horror game. Yeah, there no bugs. There were bugs earlier when I was...
Go to Gabe's... Oh, go to Gabe's house.
I'm going to take a photo of that one. Gabe's
There
house.
are bugs that spawn behind the bench in front of his house.
Ooh, okay. Bees at the field lab? No, actually, funny enough, the bees are a part of a tutorial cutscene, so you actually can't scan them. Behind his bench, like on this thing?
I can't see what you're doing, so...
Oh, yeah, obviously. Let's get the camera out anyway.
It's not the bench in front of the planter, the other bench.
Oh, wait, what is that? If it would have been great if... Oh, it's a butterfly, yeah. It's not going to be the best photo because it's just so dark at night. But I took one. It's literally behind the grass. Hold on. Let me see if I can get a good shot. Hey, butterfly. How you doing? Yeah, that's, you know, that's gonna have to do for Ryozo. I'm sorry, man. But yeah, there's one there.
Terrible.
That's a cool placement. Is that a... Yes, it is. Okay, so we're gonna... Now, if we go back to the field lab... I don't know if they'll still be open, but I guess we'll see. And I'm gonna teleport there, so the game's gonna be like, what are you doing? Wait, let me spawn this.
See, what you guys don't know is I spent like 3 hours yesterday putting little spawn points on all of the trees, so they'd spawn on the trees, so they'd be easier for you guys to find. But Rainy decided to not import that. So.
Well, yeah, I just didn't have the time up into the stream. But anyway, that's the bugs room, and there's my beautiful photo of a butterfly. And actually, let's also show you guys the really, really lovely looking art as well that goes alongside of them. And these are really how pretty. The arts look.
And also, Pat, for the record, normally in the past we have, but Rainy decided not to do it today. So, it's his fault.
You two don't have just separate Discord screen share going on. Right. Yeah, so the reason is because I'm in engine and I didn't want to put extra strain on my GPU. It's the only reason. Yeah. But yep. Anahita's leaving towards the path I can't go. So we're going to go the other way.
She's got to go home.
Home. Come on.
All right. So we got all the critter stuff done.
Yeah. Now we are going to skip exactly 69 days. And there's a reason for it. What are we talking about next, Sip?
It's festivals.
Yeah. So how do they work? Give us an intro into festivals.
This is the one area of the game that I didn't really touch, so it's all you, bro.
That's fair. That's fair. So, I'm just waiting for the game to load. But essentially, festivals. These are calendar events that happen on certain days of the month, of the year. And then once a festival takes place, it's either... its location is mostly the festival grounds, but some festivals do happen at other locations, namely the shrine. But the festival ground is actually very close to the beach. So if we... actually, let's just go down there. This way. So if I go to the beach, very nice morning. 6:30 is really early actually still. But today, exactly, is the 14th of autumn, which if I go and open up my journal, you'll be able to see that on my calendar, 14th today is the autumn festival. We also have them on the actual calendar at the top left that you can hover over, and it will tell you what exactly is happening, if it's somebody's birthday or if it's an actual event that is taking place. It's just showing me spring at the moment. So you can see that Oak Tree Day is happening on the 28th of spring, there's Town Birthday on the 27th, but today is the 14th of autumn, which is the autumn festival. So this is the festival ground. This is the little area that has always been really open and empty, and on the festival days it gets populated with things. So you can see that Melody has just arrived and the rest of the residents of SunnySide are just arriving as well. And we might see some strangers that are traveling from Higashi to be here today. So today, as I said, is the autumn festival. It's kind of like Halloween / other stuff that happen in autumn. There is a haunted house in the middle that you can't access until it opens, which brings me to a little detail about how the festivals work in SunnySide. You can see more people arrive from there. There are some people from Higashi, but we're just going to stand here in this corner while I explain it. At the start of the day, the map for the festival is already loaded. We call this the base map. Think of it as before a festival actually fully opens, when people are putting up booths or setting up things to happen and take place. And yeah, that is happening right now because the day just started. And each festival has a start time of its own. For the Autumn Fest, I have set it to 11 or 10, I think. I think it's 10 actually. 10 a.m. So once it hits 10 a.m., you'll be able to see stuff actually load in here. Now, once the time hits that, the stuff is going to load on the map. But once the game is on a version that goes up on Steam and other platforms, there'll be a little fade if you're in here and the time for the festival to begin is about to start. Then there will be a fade screen. What I'd like to reiterate is the fact that there is no restrictions on the map once a festival is happening. You can just leave the festival at any point. You can go to Higashi, you can go to the caves, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to be stuck at the festival ground itself. And leaving the festival grounds doesn't also stop the... doesn't prompt you to essentially finish the festival. The festival will happen regardless of you. Go ahead.
The thing that was really important to me was making it so that the festivals are independent of the player. They have nothing to do with you. You can go and you can be part of it, but it's going to happen whether you're there or not. Which for some reason was really important to me. So if it's, you don't have to be there by a certain time, you can miss it, but you don't, if you only make it to the last hour of the festival, that's fine. You might miss an event that's taking place at the festival if there's like a drone race or something. You might miss the drone race, but you're not going to miss the whole festival. You can still go and shop and buy stuff. So it is completely, not only is it independent, we've made it very realistic, it's something I'm really proud of, honestly.
And yeah, almost everybody attend the festivals. Now, at the moment, we haven't put together the full list of profiles for NPCs of what they should be doing. But essentially, the default is if there is a festival happening, they will all go to the festival ground. Yeah. So yeah, it's about to hit the time where the actual festival ground open thing. Gonna look Look at everybody here.
They're all just milling around.
Was it 10 or 11? I think it's just 10. Maybe it was 11. Yeah, because these booths are empty.
Is there an itinerary for the festivals? Some of them, kind of. But to be honest, no. Mostly because there are quite a few festivals, and I'll be honest, we just don't have the time or capacity to make them as complicated and in-depth as I think anybody, all of us would have liked. Could we have put together like an itinerary and like here's all the different events and done a bunch of mini games? We would have loved to, but our studio's too small. We just don't have time. So we tried to, at the very least, make it feel fun and immersive, and you can get unique items, and there are a couple unique events. But that's kind of where it ends at this point. We'd like to add more later, but for base game, this is probably as good as it's going to get for a while.
We have certain events that have festivals, but some events also have independent things that happen that are special to them. For instance, the Summer Festival has a fireworks show that will happen whether you are at the festival ground or not. So you can actually watch it from your farm if you want to.
Yep.
From the distance.
What is Shadi doing?
I don't know what Shadi's just like chilling in the sky.
She's enormous.
Oh, was she larger than she needed to be?
I think she was huge, yeah.
Well, she has moved. I think she ran away. She didn't like that comment. I forgot about this stupid thing in the middle. I love it. I call it stupid, not as if it's bad, if it's just so dumb looking.
What thing in the middle?
The you'll see in a second. The little jack-o'-lantern man.
Oh, right.
It's so funny looking. Yeah, so today is the drone race as well. So you can go talk to Hero. The drone race should have started right now, I think. I should be able to say that I want to participate, and then if I'm ready to start the race. If I had spoken to him earlier, he would have just prompted me with the fact that, oh, the drone race hasn't started yet. Come and talk to me a bit later, and I'll get you signed up. But because it's already started, we go talk to him, and there we go. Sorry, Unreal keeps opening windows on the left screen. I'm just gonna say I'm ready, and this is going to start the drone race. I have all the music off. I should have turned them on. Or I just turned it down at the start of the game. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, we run a different track every year, so that's important as well. Every year, the yearly drone race has its own unique track. We have 5 different tracks that can be randomized every year. And yeah, let's go do it. As Hero says, you can use drone upgrades. I actually do have a few upgrades installed myself, which means I'm going to be faster than everybody else. The difficulty of the drone race is still something that we are playing with and deciding. We're figuring out how to pace it and what to connect it to. So like, how should the difficulty ramp up essentially? But yeah, we are going to go do a bit of racing. Can I actually... Yeah. But yeah, you can see all the people that we just saw in the cutscene are now in this drone race with me. I just bumped into that damn tree. But yeah, we have Kazuki, Alan, Xander, Kaida, Philip, and Hanako this year around.
Kazuki.
Kazuki's in the lead, man. I can't catch him, damn it.
So much for your drone upgrades.
I know. He's got better upgrades. I'm almost there. Hey, I got him. Don't worry about the position. I'm still lost. I know. We're testing things. Oh. There is an invisible collision there that I constantly run into. We should probably look into that. I should probably look into that.
It does. It changes people every time you race, yes.
Every year, yeah. You can also do this in Hangouts. So if you want to practice, go hang out with Hero. He will drone race with you.
Oh, yeah. Weird.
To hang out with you. I think I have one more lap to do. And then we're done. Okay, I didn't actually hit the collision that one time. Oh.
Yeah, I wonder why there's collision up there. We'll check that out. That's really weird.
I am kind of sad that I have the music off because we actually do have a drone racing track.
The music is so good.
And there we go. So now we have actually obviously won, but it's going to tell me that I'm the last one. Just don't worry about the leaderboard. So we continue, and then hero is going to be like, yeah, excellent race, everyone. I'll zoom in. And is player, which that's me. I go collect my prize, and they say thank you. Yeah. So that is a drone race, and it is now over. And that's the drone race for this year. Actually, let me turn the music up now. I am happy to answer questions of any kind. Actually, let me make it fully loud. Thank you, Carrie. Yes, please. That would always help, guys, in discoverability and everything. So, what do you get from the drone race? Certain drone upgrades and cosmetics can only be acquired from the drone race, the yearly drone race itself. So yeah, make sure to win them to get them.
Yeah, there are other prizes for other competitions, which we are not going to talk about because they're cool, and I want people to be excited and surprised when they get them.
I've only gone halfway through the, what do you call it, haunted house, so I'm not gonna continue. I think Anahita's thinking about it, but she's not very sure. What is? She was playing with her gloves. That's such a cool animation, Ken. I didn't notice that.
They're saying the music's too loud now, Rainy.
Damn it. There's no middle ground.
Nope.
I hope that's better, guys. But another really cool and interesting thing about these festivals is that you'll see a lot of stalls from shops from Higashi. So these are people who come and open these booths for these events that happen in SunnySide, and you'll be able to grab unique items from them. That only shop in festivals. What's up?
Sidley, that's weird. You missed the festival the first year, and so you never get it? That's weird. No, like I said, the festival takes place whether you exist or not. It is the same festivals every year. So it's going to be the same booths, same kind of stalls. I mean, honestly, similar to real life. Like I used to go to the Renaissance Fair all the time, and it's literally the same fair like every year. The difference is there is no like festival specific dialogue. So if you go have a conversation with somebody at a festival, you might get some festival dialogue, but you might also just get regular daily dialogue. So anytime you talk to anybody at a festival, it's always going to be different. So there's that. And the drone races will change. And we do have a fishing competition, and like what fish you have to catch will change. But for the most part, they're the same every year.
Fishing competition has a very cool reward that we're not going to get into, but you would want to get it.
Yeah. Can you see people from the city in the city? What do you mean?
Like the faceless NPCs?
Yeah, there's people in the city. Do you mean people from the city at your events? The answer is yes. Let's see.
Let's go around the other side, actually.
Yeah. No, the Ren Fair I was doing was in California. Oh, that's weird. Real life season based in some games.
Oh, well, I mean, Animal Crossing, I think, is one of them, because it's real time based, so you gotta like actually wait a year for certain. I don't actually know if Animal Crossing has yearly events. Some Animal Crossing fans out there are going to absolutely destroy me, but
so I think the main problem I've always had with that is like, okay, let's say you want to do a Christmas festival and it's around actual Christmas. I don't want to be encouraging people to be playing my game during Christmas. I want them to be with their families and not feel like, oh, I gotta log into my game so that I can get my Christmas stuff. I'm not a fan of that.
I enjoyed.
That might be a me thing.
Yeah, I enjoyed a few games that did that. I mean, obviously, a lot of games that are live services, quote unquote, have seasonal events that take place like that. Back when Overwatch was actually good, I used to be always so excited to play the winter events that would take place when we would actually play with my partner. Yeah. Great. Yeah. That's...
Can you go on a date in the festival? No.
Festival ground is not a hangout spot, is it?
It is.
It is.
But can you go on dates on festival
No,
dates?
on festivals, hangouts are disabled, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You actually can't go out with anybody who's attending the festival on the festival. Yeah. However, we do have 2 festivals where you can hang out, quote unquote, or sit down with your significant others. And this is both friendship and romance. So if you have a best friend, you can hang out with them, or if you have a romantic person, you can hang out with them as well.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything.
Yeah.
As you guys can see, we touched a lot of stuff this month. So
oh god, yeah.
Yeah, and actually a whole bunch of other stuff that we haven't even shown you guys. So yeah, it's been really, really busy. What was going to be my next question? What if the date was set up on a festival day? You can't do that.
Yeah, you
there's no
yeah,
in our game. But... yeah, in our game, you don't ask somebody to go out tomorrow. It's right now. So you call them up and you say, "Hey, do you want to go on a date?" And you go immediately. There is no like, "Hey, do you want to go on a date on Friday?" We don't have any systems like that. Because what if you forget? Like I do all the time. And then you're like, "I'm going to do all this stuff today." And it's like, "Oh, you had a date planned with so-and-so." And you're like, "Crap. I was going to go farm or play in the caves or something."
It also made it infinitely easier to both program and test. Because you don't have to worry about what's coming up. However, we do have a system that schedules hangouts, and this is invites that you receive from other people.
And they just won't happen on festival days.
Yeah, the system schedules invites on the day. It tests every day, and if it essentially, we have a list of available contacts. If an NPC is not on that list of available contacts, then they are just not going to either invite you, and you can't invite them either. They can be unavailable from this list for a few different reasons. One of them is if they're attending a festival. Another one is if you have just gone out with them, so they go on a cooldown. So essentially, if you go out with Kat is not going to invite you to another hangout like right the next day. She's going to wait at least a few days before she becomes available again.
Oh.
Okay, awesome.
Well, I'm glad we answered it twice.
I want to go around the chat, go through the chat, and yeah, catch up with what you guys were saying. Oh, that was my.
But yeah, I think we're pretty much at the end. If anybody has any other questions, you know, this was a pretty short one, I think, today.
Hour and a half.
So yeah, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. We'll give you guys a little mini Q&A period. And then I'm gonna hop off here and go right back to working. So it never ends.
We are busy.
Aw, thanks, Homestead.
We actually did our Christmas event last year, didn't we? Well, the year before that. Last year was the character creator, but the year before that for Christmas we did winter map. Do you remember for Alpha?
Oh yeah.
That was really fun. That was one of the most fun things we've done for the game. Thank you. We really appreciate that, Homestead. Gonna actually, while we say goodbye, put this up. This is gonna be loud. I apologize in advance. There we go.
What are we putting up? Are we putting up the intro video?
Put the background music.
Oh. Just sitting here rocking in my rocky chair.
Yeah, have a great day, everybody. Have a great rest of your Sunday. We will see you all next month with a lot more updates. You'll have a good day. Bye.